I'm hoping that in this video, I stop somebody from making the worst decision they could possibly make in their whole entire lives. And I want to explain exactly why this might be the best time for you to go into tech. Just let you know, part of why I'm making this video is because I'm very new to the tech field. I'm really new to this industry. I just started a couple months ago, and it's been pretty good for me so far. I've been able to accomplish just a few things, and I want to accomplish so much more. But going into this field right now, undoubtedly you've heard about the issues that the tech industry is facing as I am even making this video. I mean, just look at this news article on businessinsider.com. It says a wave of layoffs is sweeping the U.S. Here are the firms that have announced cuts so far, from Carvana to Netflix. And there's just all these articles that are out there. So much in the news about tech startups, or not tech startups, but tech layoffs. And it says here, tech layoffs in 2022, the U.S. companies that have cut jobs. And down here it says more than 19,000 workers in the tech sector have been laid off. Now, the issue is that so there might be somebody that is looking at this news and they're saying to themselves, I want to go into the tech field, but I don't want to be the person that has the cuts. I mean, if cuts are going on right now, when there's hiring freezes right now, then why am I going to enter into this field? And that's something that I have to ask myself too. Why am I entering this field right now when there are tech cuts going on all over the place? Will I be able to find a job? But what I want to say is that you want to stop right there, and I hope that I can take this time to be able to help somebody not make a terrible decision. And the reason why I say you want to go for it is because I've been in this position before in my life, and operating my life based on the news that was coming out was one of the worst decisions I have ever made in my entire life. This is not the first time there have been tech layoffs. There have been way back in 2005, and if you want to go with me in a journey back in time to 2005, in a time when I was a young person, and I'm not so young anymore after all of this time, but back in 2005, I was interested in going into the tech field. I had bought some materials for the A+, and the Network Plus exams way back then before the numbers were as high as they are today, and I had every intention of being able to do some of that work. In my last year of high school, I had taken one class, one semester that was about programming, and we learned how to program in Visual Basic. And then I took another class the next semester where we had learned to use this thing called Macromedia Dreamweaver. I don't even think that Macromedia is even a company anymore. But it was about making websites and a little bit of web development. Now, this is way back in 2004 when I'm finishing up high school, and then 2005 rolls around. I'm still not really that well versed in computers. I hadn't taken the classes on the A+ or the Network Plus, but I had enrolled at SUNY Farmingdale as a computer science major. What happens early 2005? I got rattled. I mean, I didn't even know how the tech field worked or anything, but all I knew was that there were some reports coming out. Look at this. This is an article on money.cnn.com, and look at it. It's from April 11, 2005, saying tech job cuts hit 5-quarter high. In the first quarter alone, because look at this other article that we were talking about over here, where they were talking about layoffs in a couple of thousands. Was it that one? Look at this, 19,000. And this is right now, 19,000. But notice, way back in 2005, they're looking at things as 59,537 cuts. And then other ones, look at these high numbers, 35,079. Those are some really, really high numbers. That's not the only article either. And then it says tech recovers, but where are the jobs? Here it is on October 19th. See, this one was on April 11th. And then we would think that it recovers months later. It talks about on October 19th, this is while I'm in school. On October 19th, look at this big number right here. 140,696 jobs cut back in 2005. So what was happening back then is that I'm early in my journey into the world of tech. I'm a computer science major, and here I am studying, and I get the news that I might not have a job when I graduate. So what happens? I jump ship. I listened to people. I got scared. I was like, okay, so that's just what's going to happen. People were even telling me that technology is advanced to the point where they're not going to need people to do this anymore. I mean, yeah, you might want to do the whole web design and being able to use web development tools, but guess what? In the future, everyone's going to be able to do it with drag and drop tools. The craziest thing is, like, we know how that story turned out. Yeah, there are drag and drop tools and anyone can make a website, but all it does is make people that know how to build websites and do web development even more valuable. So the price actually goes up as a result of more people having these tools. And besides, Someone has to make these tools. I was thinking about that back then. I was 17 years old and I was, fresh off getting my driver's license and just into college, and I just didn't want to make a mistake in my life. Unfortunately, following the news that there were all these tech job layoffs, and choosing to jump ship was the biggest mistake that I could have ever made. Now fast forward 17 years into the future. Here I am again, in the same position, having done nothing with tech over the last 17 years, not even picking up things a little bit besides whatever I need to do for my own self, but having no experience in the field. 17 years later, about to enter the field, and 17 years later, faced with the same scenario. Layoffs are happening just when I'm entering the tech field. What do? What I know that I'm not going to do is make the same mistake that I made in the past. I made a mistake once. I listened to the news. I heard about all the tech layoffs. I'm not going to make that same mistake again. And if anyone here is trepidatious about going into the tech field at this point in time, if you're looking at all the news of the tech layoffs, worried about whether or not you're going to be able to make a job, get a job afterwards, or make a living afterwards, just go for it. Go into it. What you do not want to do is make a permanent decision, like not going to one of the greatest fields that helps fuel your passion based on a temporary event of life. I did it before. I jumped ship. And unfortunately, it's one of the few things that I regret in life. So my advice to anybody out there, including myself, is that if this is the time you're going into the tech field, do it big. Invest in yourself as much as possible and absolutely go for it. I mean, for me, I just can't help but think about how different my life could have been if I had chosen to do this so much sooner. How much more professional growth would I have had? How much more experience would I have had in this field? How much better would I have been? How much more ready would I have been for certain roles that I'm just now getting into? How many more opportunities would I have had if I had just stuck with it and not worried about the layoffs that they said were happening, or the fact that people were saying that the tech world was going to disappear? If I had done that 17 years ago, then at this moment, I would have been so much further ahead in a field that I absolutely love. But what I can tell you is that I will not be making the same mistake twice. I will be doing it differently this time. I had learned my lesson 17 years ago, and I'm going to take what I learned 17 years ago and apply it to today. Yes, I understand that there are some tech layoffs that are going on just like back in 2005. And yes, they were even worse back in 2005 than they are today. But I'm not going to make the same mistake or repeat the same mistake that I made in the past. What I'm going to do right now is that I'm going to be able to take this stand of my life to say that I'm going to move forward in this field, knowing that this field is going up and up. And how do I know that it is going up? Because I believe that I'm going to be one of the people that are in the field taking it up. And so will you. Stick with it. Don't make the mistake of canceling your plans for the future of going into tech just because of what you hear the opportunities might be like. You are going to be able to take this field higher, and do not miss out on that opportunity just because of layoffs. Go for it. Be awesome.